Hello there guys, this is David Reyes with Century 21 OneBlue, and today in this Asian cooking series we're gonna be making carnes and su jugo. Before we start with this dish, let me tell you a little bit of history about this dish. Everything began, of course, from where I was born, Guadalajara, Jalisco. My mother taught me to make this variation of that carne and su jugo, which we know it from a very popular restaurant in Guadalajara, Jalisco called Garibaldi. It's very popular all along Mexico, but it was originally born in Jalisco, from where I come. Okay, so the idea of this dish is to get all of the meats, release its juices, the fat from the bacon that we're gonna be using, the juice from the beef of tacos that we're gonna be using, and all of that is going to cook on itself and to get all that flavor in the dish. Okay, to begin with, we're gonna be using a pack of bacon. This one is 1 pound. So the first step will be to chop all of this bacon in little chunks. These chunks don't have to be perfect. So it's basically just slicing through the bacon. Make them as little as possible, but I mean, if we have those larger chunks, that's gonna be much of a problem here. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna start with extra virgin olive oil. You can basically use any kind of oil. This is just to spray the bottom of our cooking pot and to start preheating it. Once it heats up a little bit, we're gonna be using medium-high heat right here, or at least in my case. And we're gonna wait a little bit until it heats. So this way the bacon doesn't stick at the bottom of the pot. Once it heats a little bit, we're gonna be using our bacon. And while that heats, we can start seasoning our meat right here. I personally like to use all of these seasonings. However, this is up to you. I mean, make it your own flavor. I personally love these kind of seasonings. All right, so first of all, I'm gonna salt it a little bit. Now, note here, you don't have to season the meat like really well, because we're gonna do our seasoning later on our green tomato broth, which is gonna basically what gives flavor and mixes all the flavor with the meat, the bacon, and everything else. Okay, so we have salt there. We have garlic salt, a little bit, just a pinch. All-purpose adobo. And Maggi caldo de pollo. That's basically all our seasoning for our meat. Now I'm gonna throw all of the bacon in our cooking pot. Note, all of these ingredients and all of these measures will do for about 4 to 5 servings, depending on how much would you eat. I eat a lot, so for me it's about 4. We're gonna let the bacon release all of its fat, taking care that it doesn't stick to our pot and that it doesn't get like burnt out or really crispy on one side or the other. Basically, what we're trying to do here is take care of the bacon until it turns brown or that golden color. So then we can throw our meat in there and everything else it starts cooking on its own fat from the bacon and the juice of the meat. About 10 to 15 minutes taking care of this baby right here. All right, so in this case I'm gonna use the cambrai onions to give it taste to the meat as well. I'm gonna cut the tails right here, which I'm gonna be using this for later on our green tomato broth. And I'm gonna throw the cambrai onions to our bacon once it releases some fat. Okay, that way everything will start seasoning on its own juices and we'll give it that special flavors of this dish. We can throw it after 5 minutes or so. I mean, the idea here is just that we'll let the bacon release the fat and then we can throw the cambrai onions in there. We can start mixing all of our meat and seasoning right here. And again, this will not be really seasoned because we're gonna be using our seasonings again for our green tomato broth. So once we get all of that, everything else is going to season itself in that large pot where the bacon is. Let me check on the bacon again. Alrighty. I love that smell. Okay, so the bacon is already released some of the fat. This is a perfect time to throw in the canned onions to give it more flavor to our meat. Of course, wash it before you use it. I already washed them, so not a big deal here. Throw them in there and let them sit with the bacon so everything, all of the flavors mixes in. While we wait for that a little bit longer, I'm gonna be starting to prepare our green tomato broth. So as I mentioned to you, I'm gonna be using the tail of the canned onion. I'm gonna cut it in small chunks to throw it in the blender. This will give our broth that sour taste that's really good. You can also as well use some of ginger. I personally don't like it. That's why I used canned onions. Okay, and we have right here about 12 green tomatoes. We're gonna be using half for our broth and the other half, 6 and 6, for our green sauce, spicy hot sauce. Man, Mexicans love hot sauce. Okay, we basically cut it in small chunks. This is just to help the blender. There's one, there's two. Let me check on the bacon. Ooh. Almost there. All right, so we have 2 in there. Coming back. 3. 4. 5. And yeah, 6. Okay, we have 6 in here and 6 in our pot. We're gonna throw 2 garlic cloves here, right there, and a pinch of coriander. Okay, from the onion, this is a large onion. I usually use half, but this is too big, so probably 1/3. And again, we want to help the blender, so I'm gonna cut it in small chunks to help it out a little bit better. Okay, let me wash that bacon again. All of the fat from the bacon starts kicking in. This is what we want. This is going to give all of the flavor to our dish right here. And of course the meat as well. Okay, it's about time that we throw there our meat. Remember, this is not ground beef. I bought it as a beef for tacos or taco beef. You don't want it to be ground because it's gonna be totally different. This is basically steak cut up in small chunks, as you can see. Beautiful. All right. So our goal here is that everything, all of the meat, turns out in that brown color. We don't want it to get it burned. We don't want it to get it really well cooked because it will be finishing cooking on the broth. So it's basically just waiting until everything turns brown. Perfect. Back to our broth. So again, we have here, we have the tails from the canned onions, green tomatoes, 2 garlic cloves, our onion, and a pinch of coriander. Now it's about time that we use our seasoning as well. This will give all of the rest of the meat, again, that special flavor. Now, on here. Since this already has garlic, I won't use this one. You don't need it no more. I'm gonna use, again, salt. This is pink salt, but any kind of salt will do. Any regular salt will do. Over adobo. It depends on your taste, so that's why I don't use any specific measurements. I mean, I like it tasting really good, so I may be using a little bit more than usual, but again, just make it your own. All right, we want to use a little bit more than half to make our broth work. That should be good. A little bit more than half. Okay, almost there. Está muy bueno. Okay, perfect. Let me stir up the meat right here. So as you can see, this is all of the mixtures. That's why it's called Carnes and su Jugo, which literally traduces these meats on its own juice. And this is exactly what we're looking for. All of the meat, it's not yet done, however it's brown. Bacon, it's golden, the meat, it's brown. So that's what we're looking for in here. And of course the onions as well. This is just to add some flavor in this. Alrighty. And we let it go. Okay. 2 of this. That's 1. And this is 2. Now, depending on your liking, you may want to add a little bit more. I'll do it. Probably 1/4 of the cup from our blender. And that should be enough. We'll let it rest in there. We're gonna let it in here until it boils. We cover up. And then we can start working on the rest of our ingredients. Okay, the next step will be to make our spicy sauce. We're gonna throw in here the rest of our green tomatoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And our serrano pepper. I have about 8 here. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We want to cut the tails out of the chilies. Right there. And lastly, our last garlic clove. This is a nice trick I learned from my father. If you're trying to crush it, it peel off a lot easier. We'll let it in there, and about 1/4 of the onion. All right, and again, a pinch of coriander. And of course, we want to season this as well. So again, I'm gonna use salt, adobo, and Maggi. Put in some water to cover everything up. Let it boil all the way to the high. Let it sit in there until it boils. It's gonna be ready. While we wait for this to get done, our next step will be basically preparation time, prep time. Okay, this is usually served with coriander, chopped onions, the beans, avocado, lemon, and radish. Again, make it your own. This is usually what comes with the dish in Garibaldi's. Let me see, that's working. And let's get chopped our coriander. right. You can put it, not this one. Let me use this one. I like it. I like to make it in small cubes. Again, make it your own. You can do slices if you want to. It usually comes as cubes, small cubes. Okay, once we're done with our onion, we throw it in our bowl right there. Again, this is for the serving. Right there. And we can use our radish. I'm gonna slice this up. Okay. Cut the avocado. Cut our lemon in halves. This is gonna be basically all the components of this dish: coriander, onions, radish, lemon, avocado, cooked beans, and of course, our tortillas. Okay, this will be the final step. As you can see, everything's boiled down. Our tomatoes, our serrano peppers, the onion, everything's in here. So it's ready to get it on the blender and make our hot, spicy green sauce. Everything goes to the blender. Using the same water which we boiled everything down to make our sauce. Now it depends how thick you want it. If you want to pour some more water, that's okay. In my case, I'll give it all of it. That's up to you, how you like it. Just a small serving right here. Really hot, but it's perfect. Okay, I'm gonna use a little bit more right here. So after we have all the preparation, all the companions of our dish, our hot sauce, spicy green hot sauce, the next step is basically just wait until our main course boils down. Okay, once it boils down, of course we have to taste it to see that all of the seasonings are really good. I mean, if it needs a little bit more salt, you can do it as well. If it doesn't, well, you messed up. Okay guys, so finally, after waiting from about 15 minutes, our dish is finally done. So come over here to show you the final product of our efforts. Okay, and let me get that spoon right there. This is what we're looking for. All the meats, all the bacon, all our seasonings, mix in the pot. All right, we take it to our preparation stuff right here. And again, this is usually served with coriander on top, onions, cooked beans, couple slices of radish, and of course our spicy hot sauce. Alrighty, let me serve the avocado as well. I'm gonna slice it up. And there you go. Now, every single Mexican dish is not complete until we have tortillas. So I'm gonna heat this up to start eating. And this is basically just throw them in there and wait probably for about 5 more minutes, 3 minutes on each side. And that's it. All right, guys, along with our dish, we're gonna be serving horchata water or agua de horchata, which is made from rice water and strawberry. This is the final product of our carnes en su jugo. And again, this is David Reyes from Century 21 OneBlue, your local realtor. Take care.